Okay, cool. Hey, everybody, welcome to the fourth episode of No Gimmicks. We are coming live from each other's residences. Not together this week, but that's okay because we're able to still get together. We're going to talk about Raw that came on February 3rd and then SmackDown on February 7th. So I'm Brady, that's JT, and as always, our best buddy Phil. Um, hey, man, how you been?
Tired. Again, so I always like to do our little snapshot in time. So what's today?
Saturday. We are
My
rolling
watch is
live.
dead, so I can't see the date. So February the 8th, right?
Yep.
All right, yeah. So I was at work last night. I started working yesterday morning. Uh Worked all the way through the night and just got home this morning. So it's late morning on the 8th. So I've been up for I don't know, probably 32 hours with 2.5 hours of sleep in there somewhere. So this one might get spicy. But yeah, other than that, man, living a dream. Like I said, excited to be here for episode 4, representing the 4 horsemen. So another glorious day here at No Gimmicks.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess kick it off with the Raw, man. You've got the Raw notes, I've got the SmackDown notes, and you cover Raw, and I'll cover SmackDown this week.
Yeah, sure. So Raw came to us from Cleveland, Ohio on February the 3rd. Our man's Yeet main event, Jey Uso opening the show. You know what I'm saying? And his entrance is getting longer, dude. He comes out through the crowd, does his thing, and it's already everyone's yeeting everywhere. His music stops, and he gets the mic, and he, the crowd goes, "One more time, one more time." So he literally like looks at the camera and is like, "Play my music, let's do it," and then runs it back, and everyone just keeps yeeting. I think that took like 10 minutes to start the show. Uh,
Yeah, man. And tell me that crowd's not over. Oh,
okay,
sorry,
so
Jey's not over with that crowd.
right off the rip, I'm going right off script here. Fuck the IWC. For those of you who don't know IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, look, I've seen a lot of negative stuff, and for some reason, there's a lot of downvotes on the YouTube views. But you can't deny 70,000 plus people at the Royal Rumble yeeting. You can't deny that arena that night. That the dude's hot. I mean, I I don't know what to say. For everyone who wants to downplay the modern era, not the modern, whatever the Renaissance era, the Penta era, the Triple H era, the Paul Levesque era, whatever the hell it is, it's working. I'm sorry, I'm sold. I was going to do it anyway, but I'm for sure watching WrestleMania now to see what Jey Uso is going to do. Uh, and I think with that, you can also see from Jey, right? Like Jey is emotional. Like he's in the ring crying. He's trying to get through his promo, and the man's is tearing up, right? Uh, that throws back to something else me and you talked about, and then my work group chat discovered our podcast. I haven't done a lot of self promotion in person, and once again, the first thing that comes out, you know that shit's fake, right? No, it's predetermined. Let me tell you why. I had this talk with my big boss uh, yesterday. You can call it fake. It's predetermined. It is sports entertainment. You can't deny what these men and women do. And even if it's a year before or a minute before a match or an outcome that happens, these dudes, these guys and gals are emotionally invested. This is their life. That world title, that main event spot at WrestleMania fucking means something. Bottom line. You miss me with all of your this is fake bullshit. And let's get into the damn stories of good, bad. Let's get into the stories of what it's doing. So there's already one rant. And if my cranky ass continues to feel like this, I'm going to have a few more. Uh, so out comes Gunther, you know, standard data. I mean, any comments on that? I mean, Gunther came out there and did his part as a heel champion.
Yeah, no, honestly, and here's my deal, man. Like Gunther is the same week after week after week. Like it's fine for what it is. Um, I'm ready to move on, to be honest.
I, I think he's getting stale.
Yeah.
The
So
pro,
telling
but
Jey like he's not Gunther's above him. Come on, dude. Like, I get it, heel champion and everything, but I'm over it. I think we need a new champ.
Mhm.
And if we have to ride this to Mania, fine. But if Jay does choose Gunther, man, that crowd is going to it's going to explode if he
Yeah.
beats him.
Well, so, and right on the heels of this opening, it is confirmed 100% that John Cena will be in Elimination Chamber. So we could
Okay,
very
well,
well get John Cena versus Cody or John Cena versus Gunther. We
we
could
could.
get, again, obviously, but
But there's nothing to say here that this build to Mania, we don't get at least one triple threat match for the title, because we've got, if Cena wins, I mean, hell, look at WrestleMania 35, that main event with Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. It was going to be fucking Charlotte and Ronda for the belt, and then the crowd just was so upset that Becky got
I,
thrown in. Like, it's the same thing. It's
yeah,
like with Daniel Bryan. Jay's not going to get left out of the title. He's just not. So regardless of who wins that chamber, I think that Jay is going to be there regardless.
yeah, but again, technically, even though he said it the night of the Rumble and all that, like he said on Raw, he gonna go holler at Cody. But I
Yeah,
mean, we could get Jay and Cody. We could get we could get Jay and Gunther, or for like you said, we could get somewhere triple threat. So the first match of the night comes up, and we have the new addition, Penta, coming in against Ludwig Kaiser. And let me tell you something right now. Ludwig Kaiser. So Gunther is that old school champion. You hear people talk about it. I love, and I cannot get any more behind just the dirty, nasty, rotten heel character of not Ludwig Kaiser, but his actions, the way he moves, the silly shit that he does. Like, come on, man. He may not
yeah,
be the biggest or the baddest, but this dude's got the heel thing locked down.
dude, I love it. Like, I love his character, and I think that eventually he may even be a world champion, and he would be able to trump everything Gunther's doing. So we'll see. We'll see.
And and again, something I noted about Penta is so far Penta has brought out the best in everyone he's gone against, to include Ludwig Kaiser, right? Um, you know, the old, and I mentioned this in a previous pod, the old adage is a wrestler can get in there and make with a broomstick and make it look like the broomstick's winning. But I think Penta has this inept ability to where he is literally like, okay, I'm working with Chad Gable. We're going to suplex each other, toss each other around. I'm working with Pete Dunne. I'm going to get in there, get a little nitty gritty and dirty. And then again, Kaiser's just low down and dirty. So Penta is overselling all these like little dirty heel trick. I'm a huge Penta fan now. Like I've seen him throughout my life, and I've kind of followed the story. But to see someone to come from, and I'm going to say AEW, where let's face it, you can say what you want. The IWC is going to rule. Their product is not as good as WWE's. I hate. I'm not going to take away anything from what they do because some of their matches, awesome. The fact that they usually have more in-ring action versus promos, awesome. But we've talked about that 3-hour show and stuff like that. But I really think that WWE remains that pinnacle, and you're seeing it by the professionalism of the superstars. Because you get somebody like Penta, who everyone knows is a badass, but now he's dragging everybody up with him. It's like that Monday Night War effect. You would have your Stone Cold versus Undertaker, but you'd have Triple H and The Rock wanting to be that next spot and bringing everyone up with them. And that's the feeling I'm getting out of Penta.
Yeah, dude can't have a bad match. Like you said, I don't care who he's in the ring with. He's going to elevate that. He's going to elevate their talent as well. So, um, hell, whenever we were there and he fought Chad Gable, I hands down, man, I was so like just locked into that. Just anyway.
Yeah. So Penta wins. Uh, Pete Dunne comes out. excuse me 1 second. I'm home alone and there's a dog chewing on a Sharpie.
Nice.
No.
Cheap plug here. This right here, Blackberry Dr. Pepper. It's good shit.
Yep. You're not going to edit none of that out. Anyway. Surprise, everyone. Brady's our editor. So Pete Dunne comes down and Ludwig ends up jumping pin from classic heel shit. Again, I'm sucked in and I'm eating it up, man. Thinking of my words here. Again, we've had this conversation last week about being 30-year-olds watching wrestling and understanding that the Undertaker's not dead. Understanding that he's not actually Kane didn't magically make fire appear on the ring post. But when I watch these matches, especially like I said with Ludwig and Penta doing that, it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. Like I wholeheartedly believe that Ludwig Kaiser is going to maim Penta. Like, the storytelling, it's like what's old is new again kind of situation going on here. So after that, they cut backstage. Not a promo, but live at the Judgment Day, and man, tensions are getting high in the Judgment Day.
Yep.
You've said it, I've said it. It's time for our boy Finn. Time for him to bust out.
And we talked about this during the Royal Rumble, I think. I was kind of upset with Finn's new entrance music, and whenever they hit that at the Rumble, like,
okay,
God dang,
well, let's talk about news and headlines real quick. Everyone has shat all over Def Rebel.
Yep.
And I never really thought about it, right? And so hats off to production and Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, Wade Barrett, Joe Tessitore for announcing and building the night, because I did realize watching the Royal Rumble that I couldn't tell who was coming out.
Yeah, we were together, and I was like, man, who is this? And then you have to wait for the graphic to pop up, or you have to wait for him to walk out. Like, come on, man. You should be able to, if you're a wrestling fan like we are, you should be able to distinguish very, very quickly who's coming out just by the first 2 seconds of their music. I mean, and it's just all running together. Every bit of it's running together.
And especially like take Finn, so like the whole Judgment Day, all of their music sounded the same, and then Damien's new music, and it's still just kind of like they're trying, but it's not working.
I don't think they're putting a lot of effort into it. I think, well, there's no trying. I think
Phil might have to jump in here next week and get the petition going and get Jim Johnston back.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Is that a Shane O'Mac shirt? I just realized you're wearing a Shane.
My favorite European champion, bro.
All right, good night. I'm gonna go take a nap now. So we come back from commercial break, and Charlotte Flair making an appearance. First time back on Raw since the Queen, and I know you bowed down. I know you did.
Took a bathroom break.
So I feel like the crowd did too. Very interesting. I can't tell which Charlotte Flair we have.
We have the heel Charlotte Flair, dude. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. During my little segment. Here's the crowd is not behind her at all.
But they're not. They're not behind her, but they're not behind her. Like it seemed almost evenly matched.
I don't know, man. I know we're talking about Raw right now, so we'll keep talking about Raw. So,
again, I didn't get to watch SmackDown, so maybe so people are gonna get to watch my live reaction. But yeah, and then Rhea Ripley comes out. Mommy's here.
And then the crowd, the roof blew off.
Yeah, well, I mean, mommy's always on top. But surprisingly, Charlotte announced that she was going to go to NXT and SmackDown to see if she gets inspired. But Rhea just wants that smoke. Rhea just wants to get after it.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it right off the rip, but that's the match, and we all know it. We talked about this off camera, right? Like,
Yep.
this is that they will get their moment in front of a sold out stadium that they finally deserve. So that goes off with Rhea wanting that smoke, and then we get a Sami Zayn interview, and then him and Jay see each other. He stops to talk to Jay, hugs him, tells him he's proud of him. But after that, another interesting. This poor guy, he doesn't get it. Karrion Kross steps up, and he's got some hostility towards Sammy now. I kind of feel for Karrion because I just think they don't know what to do with. The dude's good, and everyone wants to see his wife in something skimpy. So, like, put him on TV. Bottom line, like, I think he's got it. He's a great, like, even, oh my God, his stuff with Chris Van Vliet, and he's great. He's hilarious. I think I could drink beer with that dude all day and never be bored. But
Yeah.
I think my man Karrion needs a chance.
I mean, it's just, I think he's just lost in the mix at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just don't have any story. But at one point, if I can remember correctly, we had Karrion Kross and Aleister Black in a feud. And when those guys went, and with Aleister Black no longer with AEW, Zelina's on SmackDown. I think if we could get Aleister Black on SmackDown, maybe a Karrion Kross move. I don't know. I think that would be awesome. I was always a big Aleister Black fan, and I think they could tear it down. Their stories are similar, so man, that would be fire for me. That's my opinion.
I support that. So, then we get some tag team action. We're gonna get the New Day versus Ray and Dragon Lee, and I'll be damned. New Day finally got them some heel music that sounds
sure
like
did.
everyone else's.
Yep. I do like their graphics though. Their unicorns are unicorn skeletons, which I thought was just boom. Like, I love it. I'm a skeleton guy, Phil. I think that
Us
I
and
think they're
skulls?
fighting.
No, you don't say, right? Like,
Yeah.
not a thing.
I think that they're finally on the right heel path, and now they've got the theme and the attire to match it. So
So something else interesting that I've noticed here in the past few weeks is, like, they'll go to commercials or they'll interrupt entrances or ring entrances for other stuff. Like, Io Sky gets jumped by Liv, and as Rhea comes up to check on her, and then Raquel jumps Rhea. So it's like they're. But I'll tell you, I'm kind of over. Much like I'm glad Damien got out of there and went away. It's time for Rhea to get away from that. That stuff's got to be done. We have to start drawing these lines.
yep, 100%.
Now, again, I think Raquel and Rhea's always. I mean, the problem is Raquel still hasn't done a lot on her own since she's been back. So I don't know how much she's improved, if any. She wasn't bad when she left, but legit single wrestler ring rust is starting to become a factor for her, I think.
Yeah, it is, and that's I guess Raquel unfortunately was not the best as a single competitor
Sure.
before she got injured. So I think she does have to be tagging along somebody to make her relevant. Like, I mean, that's just it. Um, she doesn't have a good character for herself. Like, she's good playing off the heel.
Yeah, but her coming back in this role didn't help. To me, she was better as an individual. Like, she had the strength thing and, like, the just your classic hero vibe, right? Like, she didn't do anything great, but she had the entrance, she had the look, she had the strength. She was clean. She was triumphing over evil, or evil was stomping her ass, and it worked. And now she She's a watered down China.
Okay. Well, I think again, I didn't really care for her single run. I didn't. Um, that was generally my cue to go refill my drink, do something else. But I do think that she is better with somebody. So right now with Liv, I think her character is better. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Um, but like you said, I think Liv needs to separate, or Rhea needs to separate herself from that. And hell, I think Liv might even benefit from being moved to SmackDown. Just to I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind an Alexa Bliss Liv feud.
Everyone's saying that's what's coming.
So we'll see.
Yep. Well, let's face it, Brady. Anything with Alexa Bliss is going to make you happy.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter what she could literally just
Alexa could literally get in the ring and fight her Lily doll, and you'd give it 5 stars.
love it.
So, back to the New Day versus Ray. They get in there doing their tag team thing, and I think that's another one of those standard data things, right? Like you get Rey Mysterio and Kofi Kingston in the ring, they're going to do business. You get Ray and Kofi, they're going to do business. Dragon Lee, I'm not saying he does his part, right? It was standard data. We all got what we expected until Logan Paul's music hits and he walks out. I love it. Same. I had that. Like he walked out and I literally did that. I was like, so Logan gets in the mix. Kofi hits Trouble in Paradise, and New Day picks up a clean win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't dirty, but it wasn't super clean. Now, what I did find funny is they cut to the side view, and Rey Mysterio's just giving Logan Paul the old Stone Cold salute across the side.
Yep.
Which I was laughing my ass off. Like, well, that's new for Rey Mysterio. I've never seen that out of him.
Yeah. I mean, well deserved though.
Well, so, and again, right? Like, it's so hard nowadays. It's like, was that a shoot?
Yeah.
Like, was Ray actually? Because I can see Ray getting mad at him for something, right? But I mean, again, it's so hard, and I feel like I'm a kid again because like, how much is Logan Paul actually hated there?
So I don't know that he's hated, but it's within the WWE. I think it's a situation though where I was listening to somebody else talk, and they made a comment along the lines of, stars have to work their ass off to get into the position that Logan Paul's in. Logan Paul just came straight in. He's
Yep.
a mega YouTube star. I get it, but he just came straight in. I'm not going to discount his in ring ability at all. I mean, he's
Yep.
good at what he does. But there are so many other people that have worked their ass off to get to the point where they're at, and then to have a YouTube star come in and just take that spot, that really grinds my gears, dude. It does. I would rather see, in my opinion, someone from NXT have that spot. If I just I can't
It's almost like when someone not from WWE, like maybe another wrestling organization, comes in and you think they should win the Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania.
Which one is that?
CM Punk,
Bruh.
oh,
CM Punk built his career in WWE. That's a different story. He
yeah, and then
headlined.
we here we go. We can go off the rails again. We can talk about all the shit he did, but then everyone wants to forgive him all of a sudden. Not this year, but last year.
No. I don't think no one forgave him. He fucking humbled himself. That's the difference. He kissed ass, and that's the difference. So him and Triple H, if you go back and look at a lot
So if you
of
kiss
their
ass, you get to go to main event Mania, huh?
do what?
So if you kiss ass, you can go main event Mania.
Well,
Ah,
here's the deal. Humble
Triple
yourself.
H slept his way to the top. Triple H slept his way into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, so hit me with that one too. What you just
Well,
said.
I mean, you could. I mean, I mean, that's a little. I mean, come on, bro.
We're getting back. We're getting back on subject real quick.
Okay. All
I had to. I couldn't not do that.
That's okay. Yeah.
So anyway, coming off of that, Michael Cole, Pat McAfee inform us there is no medical update on Roman Reigns.
Brother.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
Okay. Chris and I went back and forth a little bit on this, and I'm like, all right, so we're going to see Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42. This son of a bitch, he, got his face stomped, and we're not going to see him again. And he's like, it's okay because he still makes more money than CM Punk, sitting on his ass. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Roman, Roman's a puss. I can't. He's he's a puss, dude.
I've stood by the fact that I haven't been a Roman supporter this whole time. So never once have I wandered.
Roman takes a fucking double stomp, and then we have no medical update. He's going to be out for an undisclosed amount of time. So great. Now he's on the video game cover. We're going to get the Island of Relevancy.
Again, I'm paying the extra $40 just so I don't have to look at Roman's face on the cover of it.
He worked like 4 dates all last year, WrestleMania Night 1 and 2, and then maybe like 1 or 2 offs, and then we see him on Netflix on Raw, and then one other time Royal Rumble, and now he's gone again.
Yep.
So anyway, it wasn't quite that bad. But moving on.
That's life. So that takes us to Io Sky versus Liv Morgan for a Elimination Chamber qualifier match.
Yep.
Look, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. I've never been a huge Liv Morgan fan, and you know that. But here recently, I think she has just been way too over the top with everything she does. Like the way she, like, backstage when she's loving and kissing or whatever on Dom, that's one thing to make it creepy. But like in the ring, she takes a bump and instead of just like, she's like, she's like having a fucking stroke in the ring from like taking a basic backdrop, right?
Yeah.
And again, right, you sell for your opponent, but she is like, she's beating Shawn Michaels versus Hogan over
I
the
was
top.
about to say that. Yeah. No, I feel it.
Again, right? Like, it's one of those things like, oh, my friend who never watches wrestling, he doesn't understand. Let's sit down and watch wrestling. With my luck, that's what I'm going to fucking turn on. He's going to be like, what kind of weird shit are you watching?
It's like you're a kid in the room watching Monday Night Raw, and next thing you know, you got Mark Henry and Mae Young giving birth to a hand. Like,
and that's when mom and dad walk in.
Yep.
So Rhea finally comes to get some revenge. She jumps, and there hits Raquel. Liv grabs hold of Rhea, and Rhea's flailing as she hits Liv, which draws the DQ and makes Liv now chamber eligible, or will now qualify and is in the chamber. I don't know. That's heelish. I like heel things, but it's like I'm tired of Liv and Rhea.
Well, but okay, there's no way Liv's winning the chamber. Not now. So
never say never in this business.
I'm very confident that she's not going to win the chamber.
Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble.
Hey man, but I'm not saying that I was expecting, but I wasn't surprised. So I don't think.
I mean, Vegas would disagree with that statement. The betting odds would disagree with that.
I don't know if you would have put $100 down on Jay, you would have won $2,000.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's
not good, I guess.
But again, right? I just don't understand. Again, going back to Ludwig Kaiser, you're a heel, then there's like I'd be lying if I said I know where that distinction's at. I'd be lying if I said why I like one but not the other. And I think it has to do with a lot with the character, right? I've never been a Liv fan. I I wasn't a huge fan of her title run. I don't know. Nothing against her for being a Hooters waitress and working her way to champion, but I just think that somehow she misses keen opportunities to make the super dirty heel thing work for her. So after that shit show, we get Seth Rollins coming to the ring looking like the Macho Taker with his fucking leather.
With his shower curtain and like, what did you call it? The Tesla truck glasses? God dang, man.
Like someone's like he's paying homage to Randy Savage and TNA. I was like, no, that motherfucker looked like he reached in his closet, grabbed a shower curtain and his Macho Man hat and spray painted it with black latex paint.
Yep.
That shit was wild. And again, right, another one of those random moments. Adam Pearce announces AJ Styles is on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Let's go. They don't want none. And then Braun Breaker is there, and Braun Breaker takes Adam Pearce away to know what's next for him. And I'm excited to see what that's going to be.
Me too, dude. Which I guess we'll find out next week.
And again, the greatest thing caught on film for the past month or two was the 4 different angles of Braun Breaker spearing. That was magic.
And it's like over 300 million views.
It's
on
so
YouTube.
good. It is so good though. What?
Yes.
God, broke that dude. So
it's like 200 miles an hour.
So Seth finally gets the mic, and Seth talks about Roman and just the general, and again, Seth and Roman can go, but I'm tired once again of the Seth and Roman narrative, right? Like that peaked when Seth did the ultimate heel thing and came down with the Shield entrance. Like that's when that shit peaked to me. And I don't know that they're going to be able to. Again, no one's going to be upset about it, but I don't think it's going to catch the same wave that it did the first time.
I do think if they had more time. So when Seth and Roman did that at Royal Rumble, they only had like a 3-week build. It wasn't as they didn't get enough time. That's what I'm trying to say. I think if they ended it at WrestleMania, let's just say WrestleMania 41, they start the build there and then they work their way to SummerSlam, dude. I think that long of a build's going to give them enough time to really do what was needed back in 2022.
Here's your not safe for work notice. So if you're listening to this at work or your kids are around, go ahead, take a pause and exit the room or throw your headphones in. My thing about that is it was great. It was good, right? Seth and Roman's good. And my problem is when you blow your load, you're done. They gave it its all right there. Now, again, if they would have just had a match, done a thing, and now they bring out the Shield idea, because Seth's now done it twice. He did it for that match, and with his bum knee at WrestleMania, he did it, right? So now it's like, okay, that you're done. So now you gotta do something to spice this up, other than it's Seth versus Roman, and they have a history. I mean, again, are we going to get the John Ambrose or Dean Moxley run in? Like,
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think that Dean Ambrose is ever coming back to WWE. I don't. So I think that ship has sailed. But I don't know. I'm on the opposite side of the fence when it comes to the Seth and Roman thing. I think they could go ahead.
My automatic counter to that: Seth announces a match against Finn Balor, and I'm through the roof.
No, 100%, dude.
But I don't get that same emotion when it's Seth and Roman.
You didn't get to see Seth and Balor in a title bout other than that one time at SummerSlam, because Balor's never got that opportunity again. And we remember, that's the thing. We remember that match from SummerSlam. That's the thing.
Hell yeah.
They tore it down, dude. And we expect the same level. Are they going to be able to do that on a Monday Night Raw? I don't know. Well, I hope. Do I think that if the title was involved, Seth and Balor would, I mean, main event, 5-star? Absolutely. But they've got to get Balor back to that point. And I think what I was meaning when I was on the other side of that, Roman's there. Like, you can't deny when he's on TV, he's drawing the crowd. He's fucking putting seats or asses in seats. He's selling the merch. He's doing everything that WWE wants him to do. And when he does show up, he can put the match on with, with whoever. I mean, hell, him, him and Cody, if they could just work together without the interference, like, dude, they could go. And that's the thing. I think that Seth and Roman have that same ability, but it needs to be Seth versus Roman. That's it. There's no bloodline, no other of that. And I think that would draw a crowd. I mean, I think that could main event SummerSlam and sell that stadium, just that one match. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I think Chris Roach would in his opinion would totally agree. But I would also rather see Balor versus Seth. So
Right, and that comes back to my point, right? Like, you're absolutely right. I will take nothing away from Roman Reigns and what he's done, but to the point of watching WWE, I didn't watch to see Roman Reigns. I watched to see who was going to beat Roman Reigns, and I know that's part of that's the deal.
Yeah.
But again, Seth and Balor, you get Cody and Seth, you get Cody and KO. Like, again, the championship is supposed the superstars that are holding or chasing that championship is what elevated. This comes back to what Roman himself did nothing to elevate that title in my mind. It was everyone chasing after him that elevated that title.
No,
and I think that's now the problem with Cody is we had to do a mind flip to where we want to see Cody fight and defend that title. It's teetotal opposite. And that's where I'll leave Roman Reigns, because his undisclosed amount of time, it can stay undisclosed.
Okay.
Say what I said. So Seth asked Sammy to come out, talks about him and Sammy not liking Punk. Huzzah, whatever. But that leads us to the main event. Good to see old Phil back in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Not that Phil, the real Phil. Hey, Sammy and Punk delivered what they needed to deliver in the main event. I can't say nothing great. Can't say nothing bad. They did the business. CM Punk wins. And then, damn if Kevin Owens doesn't stick his nose in there again. But he jumps Sammy. So, we're getting Sammy KO for the 800 millionth time in their careers. But again, it's a match I love to watch.
And it's going to be Sammy versus KO at WrestleMania.
Big fact.
That's the difference. So
those two are going to bring out their WWE's catching a fine, because I promise you, Sammy and KO are going to look at each other and be like, "You want to split the fine?"
Yeah.
Like, I see it coming.
It's the old school Triple H and Undertaker. We're going to do what we're going to do. And, you're Vince's son-in-law and I'm the Undertaker. And, Vince still find him. Like,
that's a good example.
Let's go. Yeah, it didn't make any difference.
Yeah, so the package pile driver really is what ends the show. Another 2-hour and 27-minute show. Seems like 2.5 hours is the mark, man.
Hey, and I was upset about that at first, and I've talked in length about that. Here's the deal, like, I like it because we're not just getting a bunch of filler at this point. That's 30
Huh?
minutes of 30 minutes of my time back. The first and second week, the first week went 3 hours, but the second and third week, I was kind of man. Now what am I going to do with myself? It's Monday night 9:30, and I'm not ready to go to bed.
Take my whole
So
ass to bed.
yeah, but now like Monday Night Raw went off the air, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to hit the hay. So I think I'm okay with it. So
Yeah. So again, I'll be the first to admit it, and it makes sense, right? The Raw debut on Netflix, Raw has come down off of its high, but I will say that Raw was significantly better this week than last week. And again, when you get Sammy versus Punk in the main event, you get that no shit Rey Mysterio and the New Day action, and you get Penta and Ludwig Kaiser. Like that's a card.
yeah,
That's going to be one of those things that you're going to show your kids or talk about in front of your kids when they're our age. And like, man, I took that for granted. I was watching that every Monday.
yeah, for sure. Yep. Well, um, yeah, I guess that finishes up Raw.
Yeah. So now it's all on you, and we get to see JT's live reaction to
Yeah. So
Friday Night SmackDown. Because not me breaking up drunk people fighting at 1 o'clock in the morning.
so SmackDown yesterday came in from Memphis, Tennessee, and crowd was hot. Right off the bat, you got Jay come out and he did his whole yeet routine or
You
routine.
you team there. Yeah.
Cody came out, after and Cody's super super excited for Jay winning the Royal Rumble. Cody's like, "Hey man, pick me." Essentially, we regardless, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania because I have to complete my own story. So like he essentially is saying, in order for me to complete this, I need to win at WrestleMania. So he then goes off and tells Jay that this will be his last opportunity. So come on, man, like let's go. I'm gonna win, and this is gonna be me versus you for the last time. Him and Cody talked about their I can't talk accomplishments together. Yes, like winning the tag team gold.
And
Just
giving the
having that
greatest
run.
tag team promo or interview of all time.
Yeah, they did. Oh my god,
Do
dude,
you
that
feel him,
was
sir?
yeah. um, him helping at WrestleMania 41 versus Roman, like there was just a lot that kind of went into that promo. So, but yeah, then we moved on. Then you got Fatu and Tamatonga come out, and then that kind of sets up, yeah, the main event. Ugh, ugh. Sets up the main event, and the main event is obviously Cody and Jay versus Jacob and Tamatonga. So we'll talk about that in just a little while. Then you got Bianca versus Piper in an elimination chamber qualifying match.
Okay.
Match went okay. Just basic match. Bianca wins with her KOD,
So can I
and
elaborate on this for a second?
yeah,
Let me spit some knowledge to the good listeners here. Uh, if you've never seen any of Piper Niven's early work, like before she came to WWE, right? Now, again, this is a WWE themed podcast. We've acknowledged that since day one. Uh, but I will tell you right now, when she was announced, I had seen and heard of her before, and I was super excited. Um, I'm not going to say she's a shell of her former self because she is entertaining and she seems to be, appears to be happy in everything she's doing. So I'm glad for her. But her and Bianca, then again, because of Bianca being who she is, I think if we could get Piper to work her own again with some meaning, because again, I think she's another one of those that got lost in the mix and was able to kind of reinvent and move herself along with the storyline to stay there. I think they could do phenomenal things. I think, look, to my ladies out there listening, this is going to sound mean and hateful, but I'm a dumb redneck from Georgia, and I swear I don't mean any hate on this. I don't know why we're not getting Nia and Piper blowing the fucking ring out, man. Those two, again, it's the equivalent of having that Strowman Big Show, having that Strowman and Bronson Reed, right? Those two just knocking the shit out of each other in a old school brawl would be amazing.
No, I'm with you. Like, let's go.
I'm not hating on the creative of the way things are going, but if you put a build on Piper and Bianca without Piper playing this, what is she being called now? The security or some shit with Chelsea, they would do wonders. But that's all I gotta say. That so I'm assuming Bianca comes out on top and Bianca's going to the chamber.
Yep. She beats her with the KOD and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there she goes. So moving on, we've got DIY versus Pretty Deadly. So if Pretty Deadly wins, then they get the opportunity for the tag team championships, and essentially they cheated to win, pulled the ropes, 1, 2, 3, classic, just screw job, move on. Then you cut back. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say. The tag team match was okay, but I don't care for Pretty Deadly. I just don't. And DIY, they're great for what they do. I just
so
I'm not there.
Here's my sum up of DIY. They come together as a tag team. Everyone loves it. They do great. They fall off. They split. Yep. They do some sort of run in the singles. Everyone's happy. They fall off. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano end up linking up with someone else to tell another story in the top. Then they fall off. They are a blip in the pan for everything they've done, but that is not indicative of their talents and what they're able to do.
Dude, in NXT, they were fire. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny, whenever they did that ladder match, not ladder match, the I Quit match in dude, I was there live. That had me standing the whole time.
And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, it's I think this is part of the evolution of the wrestling industry. And you sit and you watch these other podcasts and you listen to these old heads, Taker, Stone Cold, Hogan, Piper, all these old guys that have talked about it. I think this is reflective of these superstars going out and doing the flips and high spots. And it's like now it's transitioned from them doing that in a match to that's how the storyline's built. They are built around these high spots of forming, unforming, and feuding, and then they just it's like you're giving me an incomplete meal. You're giving me the steak, but no tater. Or you're giving me the salad and the tater, and here I sit waiting for the steak, and it never comes.
Right. Yeah. Well, Pretty Deadly wins, like I said. Hold the ropes during the pin, and there we are. They got the tag team championships coming up. Then you cut back. You've got the Miz talking to Nick Aldis about Andrade, and he's saying Andrade has a lot to learn, and he can teach him. And
hold on, I gotta say it because it's my patented phrase. He is now former Mr. Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Right. It's sad because he got half her paycheck.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
So Miz says that Andrade needs respect. Keep going.
And then you've got Andrade in the back, and he says, "Oh, by the way, I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot how to beat you." And that was pretty much it. Then we go to back to the ring, and Drew comes out. Drew McIntyre. He's now on SmackDown.
Transfer portal done.
They talked about that last week, saying that the transfer portal was closed. I don't get it. Drew comes out talking about the hostile work environment at Monday Night Raw and how unhappy he was. And
hostile work environment.
Blah, blah, blah. Then you got Big Jim come on out, and they're talking amongst themselves, and Drew, Drew, Jimmy's talking to Drew about how much Drew's always complaining and whining and all this, that, and the other, and calls Jimmy J and says, if you would have used that term yeet first, you may be in J spot. Kind of just drawing that
Ooh,
up,
didn't I
and
say that like 2 weeks ago?
yeah, and Jimmy's like, well, I can use the word yeet, and then the whole crowd gets behind him and goes yeet, and then it was, that was interesting. But I do have to agree with Drew. Like, I don't know that Jimmy is where Jay is, but Jimmy was also out for a long time, so we'll see. We'll see how this builds up. And then you get LA Knight walking out,
I
and
did see that. Not
LA
to cut
Knight,
not to cut you off. Uh,
yeah,
here we go. We're gonna take the curtain. We're gonna pull it back a little bit. JT's gonna stick his head out, right? So, through my life, and especially my adult professional life, mental health has become something that's come near and dear to my heart. So, in a weird way, my feed of wrestling and mental health just it was like this video shot straight to the top of all of my socials. It's LA Knight telling everyone it's okay to cry and have emotions unless your name's Drew McIntyre. That shit
yes,
was so good. I'm crying now, but again, you can imagine me at work at 2 o'clock in the morning, get to look at my phone and I see that, and I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. Like people are looking at me like he's lost it. He's out of his mind. I was like, no, it's about mental health. They're like, yeah, it is. Do we need to call somebody? I'm like, no, you're
yeah.
good.
Oh my God, dude. Well, you've got Drew standing in the ring. LA Knight looks in the crowd and says, "I heard this kid over here called Drew McIntyre, Drew McIntyre," and then like, okay, that's actually pretty funny. And then he keeps talking about death taxes and Drew crying like a baby. That's all you get from Drew. So, um, anyway, so then he turns around and after the promo, you get the triple threat qualifying match: Drew, LA Knight, and Jimmy. Um, Drew ends up winning. It was a great match. I had fun watching it. A couple of spots outside the table, just normal triple threat action. It was good. Uh, Drew's moved. Drew moved on to Elimination Chamber. I don't know where this leaves LA Knight. Or Big Jim. I don't know. We'll see. I
Where the
guess
fuck
we'll.
did Big Jim come from?
I don't know, but that's on
Okay.
the back of his shirts. Big Jim. It doesn't matter. Then you move on to KO's in his classic "Sitting in the Car" promo, and I'm talking about how Sammy's a horrible friend, and you know, just whatever. It's
Check.
okay.
Classic.
Yeah, moving on. Um, you get Carmelo and you. What's that kid's name? You crap from Alpha Academy.
Chad Gable?
Tozawa.
Oh, Akira Tozawa?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. You've
Oh.
got those guys in a match, and it was
What?
just, yeah, it was just, it was okay. It was a
No.
good technical match,
Carmelo
man. They win.
Hayes was fighting for the WWE Championship in a dark match against Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw a month ago.
Yep,
And now he's
yep,
facing Akira Tozawa. And
yep,
Akira had, God bless him, his 8 years, finally had a chance for the Royal Rumble.
yep. There it came. And then you get Speed. Um, it was fun. It was a fun technical match, dude. Honestly, you can't go wrong with those guys. Yeah, it was good. Kept my attention. Obviously, Carmelo won. We're gonna move on. They pan the crowd, and all of a sudden, Jerry the King Lawler's music hits, and they show Jerry the King Lawler in the crowd because they're in Memphis, Tennessee. So it was just cool. He did his whole wave thing, and then they went on
What is up with these, like, just letting superstars be in
in the
attendance
crowd.
now?
Well, I mean, it's in the crowd. It's wild. Like you would think that you would get Jerry the King Lawler in a backstage segment, or
At least
whatever,
walk out
but
on stage, right? Like,
do something. But yeah, he's just in the crowd, just hanging out. And I don't know if they're actually there to just watch the show or if they're just there for the camera shot and then they leave. Who knows. Um, then you get Charlotte Flair come out, and she is okay. The crowd goes mild. Like there's the crowd's not behind her, dude. They're just not. And
Hey, that's all right. Not all queens
she's
are liked. History shows
she's
itself.
falling. I think she's falling flat, man.
She'll be back.
I we'll see. I don't know. She's talking about who she's interested in fighting, and then you see at WrestleMania, and then Tiffany comes out, and Tiffany starts running her mouth, and Charlotte says, "You speak when I say you speak," and the whole crowd just fucking boos. They're talking about going back and forth, and she was essentially, "You're a champion because I'm allowing you to be a champion." Type segment. That's fine. Nia Jax walks out with Candice LeRae and announces that she's talked to Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis has granted Nia Jax a championship match next week versus Tiffany Stratton. So then Nia looks at Charlotte and says, "You want a path to WrestleMania? Well, your path to WrestleMania is going to be me next week. So you want to fight for a championship? You're going to have to fight me." And I was actually okay with that. I was like, man,
Yeah, coming
I,
round.
I
Coming
kind of
round.
hope, I kind of hope that Nia wins the belt next week, and I want to see Charlotte and Nia. Like,
I'm so glad this is being recorded.
I would much rather see Charlotte and Nia versus Charlotte and Tiffany. I would.
Ooh.
So, um, I'm just not a Tiffany Stratton fan. I know she's y'all's bestie. I get it, but I'm just not. I
That's
don't.
Megan's bestie.
I don't care blonde for blonde. Like
Uh, I,
I'm not a Tiffany Stratton fan. I think that she, in the words of Nicole, not myself, last night she looked like she belonged in a strip club, and I'm just not my thing, dude. Uh, I
the
don't
male
want
the male 18 to 35 demographic
would
disagrees.
disagree with me, and that's fine. Let her do her thing, but I don't know.
I
I think that I don't like her in ring work or her in ring ability. I would much rather see Nia versus Charlotte. If we're gonna
I
have Charlotte, let's do Nia versus Charlotte.
so my thing with that is I am a Tiffany Stratton fan, right?
Yeah.
Now again, Charlotte's the queen for a reason. I acknowledge her. Uh, but my thing is I don't know that Tiff. So again, here's the unique situation I think that we found Tiffany Stratton in, because again, and you have to exclude the NXT stuff, right? And the only reason I say that is because look at what happens to a majority of NXT stars, shy of like the OG crew, not even the OG crew, but like the Seth, Becky, Charlotte, minus that era of NXT, right? I think Tiffany needs Charlotte because again, the Penta effect is what I'll call it. If Charlotte and Tiffy go at it and they put out a banger, then to your point, that'll make people more fans of her in ring work now.
Well, and that draws back to Rhea versus Charlotte.
Right.
I think that Rhea was totally elevated because of Charlotte. Those
Sure.
two WrestleMania matches.
Sure. One hundred
I do.
percent.
So, and now look where Rhea's at now, and that
And
very
again,
well may be the case.
and again, this goes, and we said this. Bailey and Nia tore the house down when we were at Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tiffany has that ability yet with Nia, because again, Bailey and Nia got a lot of history. They know each other. They can work that. But again, right, if we could get, and for what it's worth, I think it doesn't have to be Charlotte, but that's where we're at. Give me a Tiffany versus a Rhea. Give me a Tiffany versus Bianca, right?
Yep.
Let's see her with someone that outsizes her in a different way other than Nia's just big. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully again. But again, right? Let's see what, because again, that's that classic, you know, hard, heavy hitting versus quick and fast, or that low to the ground versus that high flyer. Well, give me somebody who's more of a brawler like Rhea Ripley. And now you got some technical skill like Charlotte. So I'm not going to say that I would rather see Nia and Charlotte. I would never turn that down because I think, especially now that Nia's matured some more, because say what you want, but since Nia's came back, her in ring, not just awareness of the heel work, but like her skills in the ring, the ability to read the crowd and give what the match needs has grown exponentially. So I think this will be good for Tiffany if she does see Charlotte. Again, I didn't say at WrestleMania, but against Charlotte, other than on a random Friday night mid card. Give them some spotlight and let's see what happens.
Yeah. And that may be the patch she takes. Who knows? But we're going to find out more next week.
Cool.
So, I mean, Nia may come in there and just they may totally change the direction entirely.
So correct. So just make sure I'm understanding correctly. No Royal Rumble winner has picked their match yet.
No.
Okay.
Nobody.
All right.
So, Charlotte did mention at the end of it, she's like, I'll be back next week to see how this plays out, and then we'll go from there. While everyone's standing in the ring, Alexa Bliss music hit, and it's going to be Alexa versus Candice for the qualifying match. And
I did see the result of that, but how'd Alexa look? Get your bias out of here.
I think the match, if we're going to talk about the match now, it was rusty. It was her first single match in 2 years. I mean, and I'm a Candice LeRae fan, but unfortunately, it was against Candice. Like, I think if she would have had, let's say, Io, or if she would have had Bailey, or just somebody that could have, led the match, she would have been fine. And the match. Let me step back just a little bit. I hate when music hits and then they go to commercial break. That drove me nuts. So you see the in ring guys, or Charlotte, Nia, Candice, they're all standing there. Tiffany, and then Alexa's music hit, and then Alexa walked out on the stage to walk down the ramp, and it went to commercials. So you didn't get to see her whole entrance. Like, come on, man. You see her get to the ring and put her Lily doll there, but I don't know. Like, I hate. I feel like that's disrespectful in a way, but it's time. I get it. It is what it is.
It's a 3-hour show, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. The match between Candice and Alexa, it went long. They went through 2 different commercial breaks. It was, like I said, rusty. And then after the second commercial break, you just see the switch flip. You see some static in the screen, just like some old school Alexa Bray stuff. You see the static, and then Alexa fucking turns the heat up. And they go in and they do the roll around in the ring, just old typical Alexa Bliss, and then slaps the fucking smile off her face, and then puts her in the Sister Abigail, and does the Sister Abigail DDT. Boom! And I love that new finisher. And if she had that before, I don't remember it, because dude, that was fire. Alexa obviously wins, qualifies for the chamber, and then in a WWE promo, she says, "See you at Elimination Chamber." So I don't know if that was her way of saying won't be back until then. I don't know. But the Alexa match was good. We move on. Street Profits popped up in a segment, and they're pissed off. So they came out and said, they're tired of all these strangers coming in and taking their opportunities, and they're tired of seeing these tag teams splitting up only to come back together, because that's the only way that they're going to get any opportunities. So kind of back what you just said about Johnny and Tommaso, it
called it.
kind of it's ringing true. So then you get Cody and Jay versus Fatu and Tama Tonga. typical tag team match, man. Cody caught Tamatonga with the Crossroads for the win, and the ending of SmackDown. I'm not really going to talk much about the match because, again, just a typical tag team match. Great, whatever. Solo returned and spiked Cody Rhodes, and then it went off the air. So, yep. We do now have Solo back in action. We'll see where this leads. Who knows?
He's gonna get a chamber qualifier match.
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll kind of see from there. But that was really the end of SmackDown. So pretty uneventful, in my opinion, for a post Royal Rumble show. I think the highlight of my night, honestly, was probably the whole Nia, talking about being the champion or having that championship next week, because I just didn't see that coming, honestly. And then again, biased towards Alexa, super, super stoked to have her back and glad that she actually had a match on SmackDown. I am
Did you get
kind
your
of
Lily
bummed
doll
that
yet?
no, those packages won't even ship. They said that the Lily doll won't even ship until June. So yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. I did miss a segment. I did miss that Chelsea and Piper had a little backstage promo, and Chelsea says that she's going to win in the Elimination Chamber, and she's going to be the first double champion. She's going to have the U.S. Championship and the Women's Championship.
Good luck with that.
And yeah, that was, that was pretty forgettable. That's the reason I didn't talk about it.
So I'd like to highlight, this is twice now in a month span that you have highlighted Nia Jax, like
Yeah.
as a highlight of your night, to include when we were at Raw Live. Again, I'm not claiming to be a wise man. I'm not claiming to give away truth and spoilers, right? But
Yep.
I have been not on the Nia train, but I've been a Nia supporter for a while. And I think it's finally kind of coming around. I think with this shift in management and what's happening, I think they're finally getting something right with her. And I don't know if it's based on her input or Triple H's input or whoever, but I think Nia has now found her niche, and I think she is going to end up. She went away for a long time, and there was rumors about her being unhappy and all that. But I think she's found some happiness, and I think that's another reason that she's starting to put out better quality promos and matches, because it went from she wanted to do this and it was fun to it's a drag, she's not enjoying it, to she came back, she realized worth, now she's having fun. She's not working, she's having fun. Just kind of like everyday blue collar or white collar, whoever you are out there listening. They say if you enjoy what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. And I think that's where Nia's getting at right now.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I can't say now. I was not a Nia supporter at all. I would do everything I could not to watch her matches, and but she's getting me, and I think that she if she stays on this momentum, I think it'll be okay. But yeah, she's definitely been the highlight of two shows. That Monday Night Raw that we went to, her versus Bayley, and then also I did get kind of excited whenever I heard that she was going to possibly beat Tiffany next week, and I don't
She's
know if
already
that's
set
going
up to be a highlight for next week.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Good for her.
But yeah, man, that wraps up Raw and SmackDown. I don't, not really a lot of news.
I think Phil would disagree with you.
Oh yeah, that actually just launched or came out last night, this morning,
and I still haven't. Again, I hit the ground running as soon as I got home, so I haven't seen. I saw some pretty, not like big names, but some decent sized names released.
Yeah, AOP.
Here we go again.
Sonya Deville, which I didn't expect Sonya Deville to be released, but
I think just brought back the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering.
Yeah, and
they got to afford fucking Cody's, pyro budget for Mania.
I don't know if that's the case or if they're. Oh, and uh, the chick that drafted from NXT, what was her name? Um, golly, she got drafted to SmackDown. Hang on, I'll find it. Uh,
Well, I mean, so well, while you're looking that up, but yeah, like, you know, I know this isn't. I don't want to say this to make it sound like that it's a problem because obviously I don't know, but like my thing is like now that we have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT on all the tapings and all that, I'm almost wondering if WWE is starting to spread themselves a little thin, right? Like you do these call ups, you do these draftings, you bring these people back, and now here we are. And
Blair Davenport. That's
yeah,
that was on the tip of my tongue, and
yeah.
they announced her at NXT during the draft last year, and she just kind of got lost in the mix. So I don't know. I think that and Cedric Alexander's gone too.
Well, we know where he's going.
Yeah,
He's
but
gonna go hurt
yeah,
people.
I think it's a situation like you just said. They may be running themselves thin, but we'll see what happens if there's any more cuts. But and one other thing I wanted to talk about, dude, is and I don't know if we've talked about this yet or not, but the WWE World at WrestleMania 41, the ticket prices are astronomical. I mean, bro, just an adult ticket to go in there, $86 before fees, dude. And that doesn't include any meet and greets.
I mean,
Zero meet and greets. So then you got to get the WWE World tickets, and then you also have to purchase the meet and greet, which Cody Rhodes meet and greet was I think $125 just for a photo. Like, bro, when I was going to WrestleMania Access every year, you got in there for $40, and then the first Access I went to, we met Paige. We met Jimmy and Jay Uso. We got to meet Trish Stratus. Like, come on, for a
so
ticket
I
to Access. Now you're literally having to buy the ticket to get in, and like let's just say an adult 5-day badge, $345. That dude, TKO pricing. It's
so
not. It's cool. Go ahead.
I'm gonna pause you right there. Interference if you can't hear it. You know, hey, we're living real lives here. We're real live people like everyone listening. So, uh, quick pause for station identification. Uh, I want to figure out how to mute my microphone. Why don't you call out our socials, and I'm gonna black myself out real quick while you do your thing.
Okay. Hey, yeah. Don't forget to follow us on X at No Gimmicks, formerly known as Twitter. We have YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. All No Gimmicks. Come see us over there. We post the content. Our full YouTube or our full podcast goes on YouTube, and then little snippets, photos go on Insta and TikTok. So yeah, come check us out over there. Give us a follow, a like, anything, man. That helps us out. So we may not be the most entertaining, but hey, we're living real life and we're doing our best. And honestly, this is just for JT and myself. It's a good way for us to get together and just talk about what we love.
All right, don't mind me tending to dogs
Back.
and groceries and all that. I'm back.
Cool.
I missed whatever
Well,
cool
hey, man.
announcements you just had, but nonetheless, yeah, I don't know what WWE's doing or how they're doing it with these cuts. And then we say that, and then we look at these ticket prices. So I will say, in the interest of fairness, right? Like, and I maybe this is something we can do in our spare time. I would like to look at the cost, the average cost of WrestleMania tickets throughout the years. And then I would like to do the same thing with the Super Bowl. As wrestling fans, first and foremost, we have a bias towards wrestling over the Super Bowl. Prime example, traditionally in my job, when the Super Bowl comes around, we would get a late start after the Super Bowl. And it's one of those things, right? Like, you don't have to take time off. You don't have to. I mean, we're salary based, so you get paid the same whether you're there or not, right? But my thing is like, why don't I get a late start for WrestleMania? Like, oh well, that's not as pop. That's not the Super Bowl. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's bigger than the Super Bowl. Like I'm watching a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
80 million people tune in to watch my shit every Monday and Friday.
Yeah.
Football players get a whole a whole time off. So, but whether we like it as wrestling fans, at the end of the day, pro football in America is bigger. The World Cup is bigger than wrestling, but at the same time, I don't know that. And again, this is an assumption, and please prove me wrong. I think that WWE didn't increase the prices steadily like NFL, MLB, etc. And now that it's no longer just WWE and we have TKO, I think that was the main push. Like, we got to move these prices, right? And we see that in everything we do, and that's a tale as old as time. We were just watching one of our favorite streamers, and he did a stream where you can watch game shows and play along. And he watched the first episode of The Price is Right.
Mm-hmm.
They gave away a car. Do you know how much that Chevy Vega cost, brand new? $5,000. You can't get a car for less than $20,000 now on the market. So that's called, and I get it. I'm not an economist, but inflation, all that. So I don't think, or in my mind, in my heart, I like to think that it's not a greed thing. I just think that we as wrestling fans might have been spoiled, and now we are truly getting what we pay for. You want top tier entertainment? You're going to pay for top tier entertainment. You
I
want?
don't know. I gotta say something about that though. I disagree because when you have people, for instance, like The Rock, he comes out on Netflix and says, "You have broken the record for the largest gate in history,"
Sure.
and they say this at every event for the last 6 months, every major event.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying to me? Hey, crowd, you just broke the record as paying the highest ticket price for any WWE event ever. Like, are we bragging because we were able to charge this much money and fill the stadium? Or are you saying, good job, team, let's move forward to the next one? I don't know, but it bothers me because I don't want to hear you paid the highest ticket price. I want to hear, hey, you broke the attendance record.
All right, let me paint this picture to you this way. And again, please, someone verify me. But scrolling through old social media, you know who Buddy Matthews is?
Yeah.
I'm assuming anyone that listens to this show probably knows who Buddy Matthews is.
Yep.
What are his major wrestling accomplishments?
Well, the only thing I know is that he used to be with Alexa Bliss.
Okay. Who's he with now?
Rhea Ripley.
Okay. Name me Rhea Ripley's wrestling accomplishments.
Well, she's the world champion at the moment. She's
twice. That's her second.
Best had main events with Charlotte Flair. I mean, let's go.
So you want to tell me why? So you want to tell me why his net worth is $5 million, but Rhea Ripley's is only $1 million?
I mean,
so you're telling me that one of the top female athletes in the top premier wrestling organization in the world makes as a $4 million deficit net worth compared to her husband, who you can't even name one major thing he's done other than being with or married to her?
I mean, at the end of the day, though, their net worth is depending on what they do with their money. So,
Sure. I hear you, brother. But again, you got to have money to start somewhere.
if you give me $1 million, I mean, the difference is how people are spending their money. You give me $1 million and give you $1 million, and your net worth may be worth $10 million in 5 years, and I may not have a dime. It's all a matter of how you spend and invest your money.
So
I mean
I
that's the
hear
truth.
you, but again, we all know that contracts are negotiated sometimes unfairly or unevenly. They're two different atmospheres, they're two different companies. But again, someone who can't even main event their alleged great, soon to be better than WWE, can't fill 10,000 people in a stadium, still has more net worth than someone who has headlines as a multiple time champion. You kind of get where I'm going with this, though? Like, we just talked about these releases. Well, so I don't think that with the Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering, Blair Davenport, all those releases, I don't think that money is going to go straight back to the company and go in the pockets of Triple H or TKO. That's going to pay for Alexa Bliss's new contract. That's going to pay to keep Rhea Ripley from going to that other organization and dragging fans and money to go be with her husband.
Yeah.
So I hear you. Do I agree the ticket prices are outrageous? Absolutely. But you know what's going to happen? You're going to keep having the largest gate. You're going to keep selling out. That is basic supply and demand. Why would I not increase the price?
No, and I'm with you 100%.
Green T-shirt guy sits in the same seat,
regardless of the event.
Brock Lesnar guy was at the Royal Rumble. I saw a post from him. He was on the entrance ramp. He was complaining about ticket prices.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is he?
I mean, I don't know, man. I can tell you this, and I've talked about it before. I at WrestleMania every year, like every single year. This is going to be the third year in a row that you look at ticket prices and you're like, dude, come on, man, you can't. You're pricing out the average fan, and I'm the average fan. You're making it where people like me can't afford to go. SmackDown's going to be in Fort Worth, Texas, in April. I'll look at just basic ticket prices, and I'm like, oh, yeah, do I want to go? Absolutely. Can I justify it, even though it's 45 minutes down the road? No, I can't.
What would you do right now if they announced The Rock for that Fort Worth show?
It's the same thing, man. I can't afford it. Like it's to the point where the
ticket what would you do when they announced The Rock versus CM Punk main eventing?
That would be hard. However,
what are you going to do when they announce The Rock versus CM Punk main eventing with Stone Cold as special guest referee?
I mean that's a reach.
You got to be careful because again, we said earlier we take for granted the shit we're watching because right now there's a 10-year-old kid who's going to watch Jimmy Uso and Cody Rhodes or Jimmy Uso and Carmelo Hayes, who are their favorite wrestlers, and they're going to beg mom and dad, and they're going to go.
To your point, though, when The Rock showed up in Dallas last year, we had tickets for that show 4 months in advance. When The Rock was announced, our ticket price that cost us $150 went to $500.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Though, is like
you're paying for the quality.
The minute that match is announced, that makes it even less obtainable. So again, you've priced out your normal fan. So,
but they keep selling out.
Yeah, and they continue to sell out.
And as a Disney adult, I will tell you, I have heard the same argument about Disney World for 10 years. But you know what? More and more people keep going to Disney. I keep going back.
And the difference, there's no difference. The thing is well, there is. I'm not willing to put myself into debt to go see I mean, I'm just not. But there are people that keep selling or buying these tickets are.
I mean,
I guess that's the difference.
don't
You
take
know,
this as a personal attack, but I would have never spent the amount of money going to WrestleManias and on travel and days off like you have, because I thought that was ridiculous.
and it might have been ridiculous, but I also didn't go into debt to do it. You know what I mean?
I
That money was
mean,
there.
everyone.
So, and everyone's different. I can't say that I would be willing to put a WrestleMania 41 ticket on a credit card. I just can't do it. Not whenever everything's going the way it is. So if
I
I
know a
have the
lot
money
of
to
people
do it,
that went to the same meet and greet who said that same thing.
no, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I do a
Another
Stone
prime
Cold meet and greet.
example. How bad are you kicking yourself in the ass for not going to Bad Blood in Atlanta last year?
I
We could
am.
have went. I
We
don't
could have
think.
went.
I mean, and honestly, I don't think it would have hurt us, but we just didn't think it was worth it. And now here we are, semi kicking ourselves in the ass for not going.
Yeah, but it didn't kill us. That's the thing. It's the same
Well,
thing.
at the
Like
end of the day, none of this is going to kill us.
and that's the thing. That's what I keep repeating to myself. Like, would I have loved to have been at WrestleMania 40? Absolutely. Do I wish I was there? Absolutely. Am I sad now? No. And do I want to? Should we have gone to Bad Blood? Yeah. Am I sad now? No. Like, I think that I'm happier with the way I spent my money than going to watch that show.
N-
And that's the same thing with the Fort Worth thing in April. Um, when it's live, when I'm watching it on TV and I know it's 45 minutes down the road, am I going to be sad that I'm not there? Yes, I am. But 2 weeks from then, am I going to think about being sad that I wasn't there? No. Like
Well,
that's the difference. Like whenever we were buying WrestleMania tickets, I WrestleMania 35, the very second that Becky Lynch was going to main event, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so glad we have the tickets. I can't wait to go. I would have been super sad to have missed that. Now I'm like, oh yeah, we spent a lot of money going to New York and doing all this, that, and the other, but I was in a different tax bracket then, so it now I can't justify it, and I'm not willing to put myself in a bad situation to go to go
sure.
to a show.
And
So
that's the next piece of that of this is it's we also have to remember that we are super biased. And I say that because think about all the countries that are represented at WrestleMania every year.
yeah,
You get 2, probably 3 times to go see WWE a year, 45 minutes down the street from you. Even
yeah,
me, where I'm currently living, maybe 1 opportunity a year, and at a minimum is an hour and a half away.
yeah,
Uh, I remember the first time Raw came to Atlanta, and we went. Obviously, I was a kid, but it's like, that was at the time, no one knew if that was going to be a once in a lifetime thing. Uh,
yeah.
and I dare say that when you say pricing out the average fan, I don't think so, for the simple fact that WWE's in what 178 countries or some shit like that now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I challenge you to look at the populations and see who's really average.
Okay. What
It's
do
a
you mean by
perspective
that?
thing, and again, this isn't a hate, right? It's
No, no.
we are now experiencing to AEW. Their big thing is they sold out Wembley. What was your reason why they did that?
Well, the reason is because they hadn't had a wrestling show in the UK in years, like a
Imagine
big
if WWE
actual.
decided to pack up and move to the UK for 2 years to include all their PLEs.
Yeah, they would sell
Except for
out.
Saudi Arabia, of course, because they'll do Saudi.
Yeah, though I mean they would sell out Wembley in a heartbeat. But as the
But
time goes
but
on,
we would all be bitching because tickets are only $100 to go to SummerSlam, but I got to pay for an air flight, my passport, my hotel.
yeah,
We are just now figuring out what it's costing compared to everyone else.
I know, and I see that side of the story too. And watching the PLEs that are across the pond, we're seeing what they've had to deal with their entire life. So, and now I
Somebody
get
fell
that.
asleep when they were in Australia.
Oh, yeah, because it's 4 o'clock in the freaking morning. Like, ugh. um, and that's the thing is, I totally understand that side of it now, but let's draw back. I mean, WWE is an American company, so WWE has their whole build was here, right? And they travel the United States, and then they had their one-off tours in Japan and wherever else. So the average fan and I'm talking about here in America, that's just all it is. But I see your side of it, 100%. But moving on, you actually kind of already answered the question that the off the top rope question. You kind of already answered that during our last little conversation. But the off the top rope question of the week, JT, is what was your first ever live event? Who did you go with? And did it meet your expectations?
A little. All right. Mom, Dad, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I'm going to spoil it and let you know what kind of horrible parents you are. Shame, shame, shame. My first event was Monday Night Raw in the Georgia Dome, late 90s. It was actually the episode, for those of you who have good memory, where Stone Cold threw Triple H into the locker room with the rattlesnake. Yeah, that was a good one. When you say did it meet expectations, of course it did. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, and I've said it on this podcast before, right? I got to see Stone Cold. Not realizing as much as I hated him at the time, I got to see Triple H. I got to see The Godfather, and I remember all 37 hoes he brought to the ring with him, right? But where I got to call out my mom and dad, right? Like, I think I was in first grade, and they'd let me cuss and do the Stone Cold salute. So I'm trying to stick a middle finger up, and I have to pull my fingers down like that because I hadn't built up this muscle yet. So, and I mean, we were sitting 200 rows, right? Like we were up there. And yeah, I mean, now again, I don't know that that's a fair answer because again, that was my first event, but my first event as an adult that like where I spent my own time, effort, and money was WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta. Now I still cheated. I didn't buy my ticket, but my friend bought ticket and I provided her with food, lodging, and transportation to and from the event. And WrestleMania 27 really stank out the joint. But the memories of my first time ever being on the floor, The Rock was there, Cena was there, the Triple H versus Undertaker match. And I told you this, Triple H coming out initially to Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls, Undertaker coming out to Johnny Cash, Ain't No Grave. Man, come on, get out of town. As live in my, not hometown, but in my home state, realizing that I was going to go home and sleep in my own bed, didn't have to pay for shit else. Hell yeah. Full expectations met.
Nice. Well, I can tell you my very first WWE event. So my dad actually worked for an oil field company who owned a suite in the American Airlines Center and in Dallas, Texas. So dad got some tickets to a house show. All right, that was my very, very first WWE event, and we went to Dallas. Where I grew up. We went to Dallas that night, and I was expecting Monday Night Raw. I wasn't thinking. You know what I mean? I can't remember. I was in like fifth grade, sixth grade, something like that. I was excited, expecting a live televised event. And I can't remember what day this was on. It was a Saturday or a Sunday. So, but I didn't really understand how all that worked at that point. So when we went, there was no stage. It was just a little bitty gimmick curtain, with the ring. And we were up in that suite,
Wait,
and
wait,
I
wait.
was like,
Sorry to interrupt, but roughly what year is this?
"Oh, dude, what year?"
Roughly.
So WWE Homecoming came to Dallas in 2005. It was probably 2003.
Okay. So I know the setup you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So when we get there was no big stage. There was nothing. It was just a ring in the middle of the arena, and they didn't have the 300 sections. They were all tarped off, and we were in this suite, which was really cool. Uh, and we were just sitting there, and man, I can't recall the card all obviously because it was just a house show. Um, but what was funny about it all, I was like, I looked at Dad and I'm like, I don't think that this is Monday Night Raw. And he was like, no, it's just a house show, Brady. It's like a Sunday. Like Monday Night Raw is live. And I'm like, oh, okay. But house shows then were just 100% rehearsal for Monday Night Raw. That's what it was.
And fan
So
service.
do what?
And fan service.
And fan, right. So I remember going and watching that show, and then Monday Night Raw kicked off, and damn it, if it was not the exact same show as Monday Night Raw, like verbatim, the promos, the Stacy Keibler shaking her ass on the ring with the Dudley Boys, like
Oh, that's what you remember.
Yeah, I do remember that. But it was the exact show, and I got to watch it there live, and then also on Monday Night Raw. And I don't know if Monday Night Raw was there in Dallas that next week, or if it were in Houston or somewhere near. I couldn't tell you, but that was my very very first show. My very first live Monday Night Raw was actually Homecoming to USA Network in 2005, and Dad had that suite still because he still worked for that oil field company. So we got to sit in the suite for Monday Night Raw, and it was a 3-hour show. And yeah, that was.
Don't you
that
ever
was,
say average wrestling fan to me again, you son of a bitch.
that was in 2005. So it was that met all my expectations. You got like Stone Cold coming out, stunning all the McMahons. You got a Matt versus Edge Matt Hardy versus Edge ladder match. You got a Braun panties match. You got dude, it was just phenomenal. That was if you want to say live Monday Night Raw, that was my first live event, except that house show. So that met my expectations wholeheartedly, and that just set the tone for what I expected for every Monday Night Raw to be. And obviously that's not the case, but that was my first ever exciting event, and I got to do it with Dad in that suite. So, and growing up, that was a staple in our house. We didn't get to watch SmackDown because we didn't have UPN, but we got to watch Monday Night Raw.
Yep. So, and that's kind of indicative of kind of what we've talked about and the reason why we started this podcast. So my great grandfather, so my dad's granddad, my dad when he was a kid would go to granddad's house and watch wrestling. My grandfather hated wrestling. Didn't give two shits about it. So now, I come along and Dad gets to watch wrestling with me. But even though my grandfather didn't care for wrestling or nothing, every month the pay-per-views back then for all you youngins listening, $60 a month. Well, back then it was only like 40, then it worked its way up. But my mom and dad would make a family meal, and it was us, my brother, my sister, their spouses, their kids, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents. Everybody would come over and eat at 5 or 6 o'clock. And it went from me watching wrestling with my dad to everyone stays at the house to watch me react to the wrestling. And they just it hooked them right into. My granddad wouldn't watch wrestling to save his life week to week. But them Sundays he'd come over and he'd be like, I remember that son of a bitch from last time. I remember, and it brought the family together, which was something that I will forever cherish. And I don't think wrestling gets enough credit for that and for the ways that television rots our brains. It's one of those things like And I don't think my mom and dad knew at the time. Like they were doing it to appease me, keep me happy. Everyone was there. But the memories made there, I will forever cherish. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll never forget SummerSlam when Stone Cold lost and Jesse Ventura was uh, special guest referee, and I laid in the middle of the living room floor and cried because he lost. But like in front of God and everybody, and there's like jumping up, boy. But it was one of
Yeah.
those things, right? Like you look back now, and all you can do is laugh and appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%, man. I think that really brought Dad and I together in a lot of ways because, and we still talk to this day. Man, did you watch Monday Night Raw? Blah blah blah. So he watches it every Friday and every Monday and
That,
every pay per view.
that's the
So
thing, man. I mean, I'm not going to steal someone else's gimmick, but bringing people together through wrestling.
yeah,
My fa-
that's what it is.
Here we sit.
Yeah, I mean, again, we can talk about how we met, and that's what it is. Like we met through wrestling, and here we are. We're still talking about it to this day, and now we're recording. So, I mean, but yeah, man. I guess that wraps up our show for the day.
Yep.
And I don't know how long we went. We don't have a timer, but I know we talked about Raw, SmackDown, kind of went on some tangents about ticket prices, and we did our off the top rope. Is there anything else you have to say, or is it till next week?
I'm going to, as much as it pains me to do this, your boy is an inspiration for me. After these past going on 40 hours, it's coming.
Yep. Yep. Go sleep, my dude. Go sleep.
Yeah.
And
So, hey, man, a pleasure as always. I'm looking forward to the next time we get together, which right now is looking like,
Elimination Chamber.
yep, we got to figure that out. And I don't know if we're going to do it. I'm going to spoil it for everybody. We're trying to do some of these watch along things, figuring our lives out, but I don't see that happening for night one of WrestleMania because my vote's still to go watch it at the Cosm in Dallas.
Oh my God, dude. I think we should 100% do that. And I've kind of looked at some of the videos from the Royal Rumble. Dude, you were right there, live, living color at the
all
corner
about
of the ring.
So again,
And
this is by no means a plug, but it looks awesome. So if you got one of those places near you, I highly recommend you look at it.
yeah, I think the only one near us is it's Dallas.
Yeah.
So yeah, catch us there, man. I think we're planning on doing the WrestleMania get together there at the Cosmo, whatever. And yeah, we're gonna hopefully have a couple of us go and see what's up. That'll be night one WrestleMania, and then we'll have to split off for night two. But then I don't know, we'll try to do a watch along, or we'll just talk about it. How figure it out. So yeah, but hey, man, this is Brady, JT, and Phil. As always, if you have any comments or questions or criticisms, man, just hit us up. We've got that email at nogimmicks@gmail, and then we've also got all of our socials, which we plugged earlier. I am not good at plugging those things, by the way. That's JT's JT's thing.
Yeah.
So,
All right, real quick, let me show you how the man does it. All right, God, fucking JV status over here. So again, folks, if you want to reach out to us, whether it's gripe, moan, bitch, moan, complaint, whether it's a thumbs up, thumbs down, whether you want to tell us how awesome we are, how much CM Punk sucks, whether you want to talk about Phil and what he's doing hanging out, or whether you just have nothing better to do, like and follow us on our socials. You already found us on YouTube, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. But check us out on TikTok, on X, Instagram, Facebook, and as always, thank you for listening. Look for No Gimmicks. Look for the spotlighted microphone. Until next week, I'm JT. He's Brady. We'll catch y'all down the road.